His books have been translated into 40 languages with more than 19 million printed copies in 51 countries. His book, The Templar Legacy, was named one of the top 100 thrillers ever written. And I'm very excited to have him here today, the man, Steve Berry. Thank you for coming on the show.
Great to be here.
So now, Steve, you work with historical facts and a bit of speculation. So how does that make for a great story?
Well, it's the best kind of story because it's very much grounded in reality. And in this case, I did that. I took something, the income tax, something with the 16th Amendment of the Constitution, something that happened 100 years ago, and wove it into a modern-day thriller. So I always like that. I like something lost, something forgotten from the past, something you may not know a lot about, but you want to know more about, and it still has relevance today.
And his current book, The Patriot Threat, he's actually going to be signing autographs tonight, Highlands Ranch Library at 7 p.m. You know, we just accept that as law, income taxes. But you say income taxes have a shakier past.
A real shaky past. There was a lot that went on with the ratification of the 16th Amendment back in the early part of the 20th century. A gentleman about 20 years ago went around to every state in the Union that considered the 16th Amendment and did some research to determine whether or not the states had properly ratified it or not. And he found that in 15 of those states, they may not have actually ratified the amendment legally. And you only have to void 6 states to void the amendment. And I came across this research, and the research is not out there in left field. It's not crazy. It makes a lot of sense. And so I wove it in. I said to make a great thriller, and it did. It came together nicely, and I think the reader's going to learn some stuff about income tax that you may never have thought, and it certainly surprised me.
Right. So the 16th Amendment may not be valid.
It may not have been properly ratified. Yeah, now this is not a manifesto for not paying your taxes.
Of course.
You have to pay your taxes. I mean, but I'm just saying that something that happened a long time ago, something that was kind of swept under the rug. And by the way, the Solicitor General of the United States at the time warned the Secretary of State in writing that there was a problem with this process. The Secretary of State ignored it. We know that because that memo has survived. It's actually out there. So, you know, it's like I said, it's not for not paying your taxes, but it is for something curious, something fascinating that that we just didn't know existed.
Steve, you have certainly done your homework for this. Absolutely. Let's talk about the characters in your book. They're fascinating.
Cotton Malone is my recurring character. He's been around for several novels. He's a retired Justice Department agent, lives in Copenhagen, runs an old bookshop, stays in trouble a whole lot.
Yeah.
The bad guy in this novel is based on is based somewhat on a real fellow. The current leader of North Korea was not supposed to be the current leader of North Korea. His older brother was supposed to. But his older brother was caught trying to sneak into Japan to take one of his children to Disneyland, and their father disinherited him. That's how he lost his ability to run the country. And I based my antagonist loosely on this guy. And he's back, and this guy, mine, is a little more aggressive. He's looking to reclaim his birthright.
Now, I mentioned you did a lot of research. How did you do your research, and how long did it take to write this book?
It took 12 months to write it, 18 months start to finish with the research. I read 300 to 400 sources with the novel. I always do that with every book. A lot on income tax. I read the gentleman's research that he did, which was fascinating. I read about what happened back in 1913. The 16th Amendment wasn't even supposed to pass. It was a publicity stunt by the Republicans at the time, trying to prove that they were not the party of the rich. So they put the amendment forward, and they actually thought it would be voted down, but it wasn't. So all of that was very interesting to me, that early 20th century politics.
Do you feel that it's our responsibility to question the government?
Absolutely. That's how democracy works. You know, that's the whole point of democracy. We don't trust our government, and we keep it constantly under a microscope.
Now, what do you feel that future leaders will take away from this book? Will it change anything?
I don't think so. It's because it's a novel, for one thing, you know, and it's designed to entertain. It's a 23-hour adventure that my characters get caught up in. It's a lot of fun, but it might take away an interest to take a look and see what did happen in that ratification process. Was there fast and loose? Did we bend the rules a little bit? It seems to lean in that direction, yes.
You have received a lot of accolades from other authors, including Dan Brown. David Baldacci. That has to be huge.
It's all nice when your peers recognize you. And Dan blurred my very first book, The Amber Room, long ago in 2003. He called it My Kind of Thriller, which was kind of really neat. And we've used those words all over the world, God bless him. So David Baldacci gave me some really kind words. Lee Child has given them to me. David Morrell, Clive Cussler. It's very nice. It is wonderful. And what's even better is those guys I can call, they're friends now.
Oh, that's awesome. You do great work. Was there anything that surprised you historically when you were doing your research?
Just the fact of that the states may not have actually ratified the amendment. That really, I didn't even ever consider that the states would have improperly done it. A quick example, if you want it.
Yeah, give it to me.
Tennessee. The House of Representatives voted to approve the amendment. The Senate of Tennessee voted to reject the amendment. Somehow it got to the governor's desk and the governor vetoed it. But Tennessee's in the yes column.
My goodness.
There's one.
I wonder how many people in government's going to be reading this.
That's one
book.
example. It's one example. There's more examples like that where the states just kind of played fast and loose with their rules.
Right.
The Solicitor General warned the Secretary of State, you got a problem here. Secretary of State ignored it, went ahead and declared. He declared the amendment, though, in effect. Not ratified, in effect. Interesting choice of words.
And you know, I also want to point out quickly before we close here that you have not a lot of time on your hands, but you're still philanthropic. You still help out in the community. Tell me about that.
History Matters is a foundation my wife Elizabeth and I created a few years ago. We go around to communities and help them raise money for historic preservation. And I'm doing about 4 or 5 of those on this tour here. We've done about 70 around the country. We've raised nearly $1 million for historic preservation.
Good for you. Congratulations and thank you. All right, if you would love to meet this guy, Steve Berry, you can do it tonight at his book signing. It's at the Highlands Ranch Library at 7 p.m. And if you'd like more information about Steve Berry's books and his philanthropic work, please go online to steveberry.com. That's steveberry.com.